Micky, first of all, Richie Sutton and Zuma Bakayoko, how are they looking?
They're having scans today, so we'll know exactly to what extent their injuries are. So until we have the scan, we'll have to wait and see.
I know you set out the other night to win, but the 7 changes you made, I guess the fact you've got 2 big injuries, proves you right with the amount of games to come.
Yeah, I didn't want to be reckless. I wanted to win every game that we play in, and I fully expected the team to do what they did do, and that was go out and compete and play the way that they did, because they played well, just apart from maybe a couple of moments of detail, like a long throw and people trying to get the wrong side of people when they know better at an edge of the 18-yard box. But they're probably things that happen when you've not played with the amount of football that you need to have played, so I can kind of get on with that. But yeah, we have to use the squad. We don't have a massive squad here. We have a few injuries that we came into the season, pre-season already with, so we don't have a huge squad. So like I say, they're all here to play first team football, so when we get the opportunity to use them, not just about the injuries, about the energy levels as well, that you have to sustain to play for Tranmere, because we expect an awful lot of them. Then we have no hesitation in using the group, as long as everybody understands that we won't be reckless with that. We'll be putting out teams that we're not looking for excuses. We will be putting them out to expect to get results, which we're disappointed we didn't get the other day, but we believe we know why, and we will work on the things that we know that we have to in order to give ourselves a better chance of winning the games.
Defence was probably the area of the pitch where you had the most depth coming into the season, and then these injuries have happened. Are you going to have to look to bring someone in now there?
I hope not. I hope not, because in my mind we wanted to try and, if possible, improve the group in other areas, so we hope not. So it's a wee bit of a cotton wool job. I don't like talking about it, because as football people, for some reason we're superstitious, aren't we? For some reason, I don't know why. And there's something to go deeper about that. But we wrap them a wee bit in cotton wool, hoping to nudge Reid, Halsh and Buxton closer in the next week or two. They're back running now. That would have been a big help, certainly, from the other night, because I would have made, they two certainly would have played and definitely gave Zuma a break. But it wasn't to be. Now we've just got to get on with it and look forward.
How are you looking in terms of the recruitment for the other areas of the field then? Anything close there?
Well, it's always difficult, because we all we're in the industry, so we know how difficult it is to try and get things over the line, and then it's obviously got to come in and be able to play for a club like Tranmere, so you have to balance all that up. We're always constantly trying to recruit, we're always constantly trying to put ideas to the club in order to try and improve the group. I have the ability to be able to do that. I think it's important that I let people know that. I have the ability to financially be able to go and get players in. So, but what I'll make sure is that I try and get the right ones in that make the real impact that will help us to continue to play well, because we're playing well at the minute, we're playing okay.
And the versatility of your squad being tested as well. Manny Monty going to left back the other night, is that an option for this weekend, and perhaps calling on the experience of Ellis?
Yeah, it probably need to be, for the reason we just spoke about. I was disappointed for Manny, because I wanted to give him the full run at 90 minutes at centre back, and every time he goes to centre back, the left back is injured, so Manny just automatically seems trudging out the left back. But he gets on with it, and he can perform there. We expect him to play well there. Obviously he's got different qualities to what Zoom had, so we missed Zoom's qualities but gained Manny's qualities. But no, we won't look for any excuses. It's football, that's why it is. There's no really reason why we're maybe one game too many, because calves and things like that are overuse injuries. I don't think it wasn't a kick, so that's annoyed me, but there's not a lot I can do about it. We had a game to put a team and Zuma to play in it, but we have to move on now.
And putting the Walsall game aside, the fact that you've got a win and a draw so far, maybe not that the players needed it, but has that given them belief that they can compete and challenge at this level?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic about the way that we're moving forward as a football club, because we're only 2 games into that process. We have, like we've said at the start, we have an awful lot of players who are playing at this level for the first time, or coming back to it for one reason or another. So we can only measure on what we've already played at our level, because it's important that we remember that we have to do that as well, because Walsall's not from our level. We're not playing in League One. It's the way it is. Certainly they gave a good account of ourselves against Walsall. I think that I have to be honest and say that I thought 3-1 massively flattered them over the course of the whole game. I think we really set their own downfall in that one with certain little bits, but generally over the piece they played well, and in the 2 league games done really well. But there'll be other challenges ahead against other big clubs who are more experienced than us at this level. If players have played a lot more games than us, that doesn't mean to say that we're not going into that with a really enthusiastic, optimistic mentality that we want to go in and take these challenges on and do well. But until we go and play against a number of these teams in a period of time, there's nobody can tell me where we're at. That's exciting, so I'm pleased about that. I don't know. I can just tell you for large parts of all the games that we've played in now this season, we've been very good, and I've enjoyed watching us play, and I've enjoyed watching the players who've came in to the group, like Zoom and Jake Caprice, Johnny Smith, Cole coming back, other one, Banksy coming back in. I've enjoyed the way that the team's evolved with their qualities coming into it, because we've changed a little bit from what we've had before, because they're different types of players to what we had before. So it's been nice to see that evolve as well, and we'll continue to try and do that and create the football that everybody wants to watch. But I think you generally would gauge that from the reaction of the fans, and I think we would have to say that certainly at the end of games they're very appreciative of the efforts that we're putting in, and I think they see what we're trying to do.
You say cautiously optimistic after the first few games. So how big a testament is it to yourself, the coaching staff and the players, that the level that you were playing at last season, you seem to be playing that same standard of football this season as well?
I don't think we're looking for any big pats on the back, but thank you very much. It's very early, but we work really hard. We do work really hard. I seen a question the other day to a really famous manager, and a reporter asked him, was it easy to manage his team? And he gave the answer back. He said, no, enough, a lot of hard work goes into it, and mentality, and a lot of things behind the scenes that you don't see. It does take a lot of hard work. So like I said, we're cautiously optimistically moving forward, but with an excitement. We are enjoying it. We know that there'll be bumps and scrapes along the way, but we're attacking it. We're having a right good go at it. But there'll be a lot of big tests ahead. There'll be a lot of games that we have to show different qualities in. We'll be aware of that, but we're enjoying the challenge. And
you've talked a little bit over the last couple of years about how having 7 subs compared to 5 in the National League and Football League is different. On Tuesday night we saw Spellman on the bench, Wharton on the bench as well. Are these the kind of experiences that they can get now because you've got the extra spaces on the bench?
Yeah, it definitely gives you the opportunity of putting them into that environment, doesn't it, to bring them on. We have a wee bit of a problem with the young ones that we don't have in that gap, and that's another conversation between sort of 18 and 21. If they're not ready for the first team, it's always a problem to develop them, because you're only giving them training and among the men, because we don't have a reserve team, a development team. So we'll have a look at what we have to do with that, and we're always looking at how we can move them forward. And yeah, you're right, to be able to give Paddy and young Spellman a go, but to be honest, with all due respect to young Spelly, they were needed to make up the bench, because we're a wee bit low in numbers at the minute. We're only running with sort of 17, going down to 16 now, fit players, because of the amount of defenders that are injured. But we trust the youth players. We want to give out that message that if you play for Tranmere, there is a pathway for you if you're good enough and show the right qualities, that we'll give a blast.
Obviously it's Swindon up next this weekend. They proved to be a bit of a bogey team for Tranmere in recent years. How do you see this one panning out this weekend? Are you feeling optimistic going into it? Or?
Oh yeah, we're excited about it, but how long ago we've played them, I have no idea. It must have been a long time ago, and hence all the longs there. It's been a while. Things change. I don't really believe in bogey teams. So much changes. I don't believe that anybody at the football club. I mean, even as a player, I can't even remember playing against Swindon. So that's how long ago it would have been. So no, two entirely different football clubs coming together. We know that it's always going to be a difficult place to go because they're a big established football club. They'll have players there that are very experienced in league football. They'll be determined to try and get a result against us. So we'll bring a big following again. They'll be very noisy. Really excited about that. The pitch will be beautiful because it usually is at Swindon. That's one thing that is you can't take for granted. It's usually a beautiful pitch. So looking forward to it. Let's get it on and go and try and carry things forward again.
And then following this match in the league, you've then got 3 of your next 4 at home. How important do you think that will be for you, having so many games at Princeton Park?
Home games are always important in anything that you want to do, whether that be if you're in the Premier League to stay in it. You'll always hear managers saying, regardless of what the challenges of the football club, you're more often than not going to make your home games, your home ground, a fortress. You've got to make sure that if you get the opportunity to pick up as many points as possible at home, because playing away from home is tough, we all know that. So yeah, that gives us an opportunity again to see where we are as a football club, because they'll be really tough games. The clubs that, like I say, are well established at this level, have invested financially very heavily into their groups. So that brings its own challenge, because they're bringing sort of ready-made known players. That's why they're paying big wages for them and all the rest of it. But isn't that great for us and our lads to go and measure against that, go and have a blast against that, go and announce yourself into that environment, let's see what you're all about, and go and announce yourself to the Football League world that you're a force to be reckoned with. So no, we look forward to it.
Can I just ask, what's the situation with George Waring at the moment?
George, as we said, way early in pre-season, we made the decision between us all that we didn't believe that there was going to be much first-team football here for George. We let him know that really early because we're good people. We believe we're good people. We're very honest with people. I wouldn't bring anybody here just to keep me company, just see that I had massive numbers. We just felt with the strikers that we had and maybe the potentials that we were going to bring in, that George would find himself without a lot of football. And these boys have all got careers and families to think about, and we told them that professionally. But while he's here, he's treated properly and has been given plenty of opportunities to go and speak to other clubs in order to try and get him that football, but he's not been able to get that over the line for one reason or the other at the minute, be that George not quite fancying going there, or the other club not making it worth George's while to go there. So that's what it is at the minute. Until that changes, things will continue the way they go and George will be treated properly. But I think we said that earlier in pre-season, we're fair to our players, we try and be honest with them. And if you're not going to play here, I think it's my responsibility as a manager to say that, in my opinion, I don't think you're going to get much football here. So you've got families and bills to pay, because that's what it is at this level. It really is. It's hand to mouth for a lot of them. You have to be honest with them.